This is a Shields of Shame exclusive.
Thursday, June 13th, 2024, 10:18 hours. Trying to reach Elbert Bruno, formerly of Marta PD.
Hello?
Yes, this is Investigator Williams with Georgia Post. I was trying to get a hold of Mr. Bruno.
Yeah, this is him.
Hey, sir, do you have a minute to talk?
Go ahead.
I just got assigned your case maybe a week ago. Even though the departure from Marta was, I guess, right at just over a little over a year ago.
My situation with Marta was unique. And I don't know if you all have crossed that kind of situation before. And you mentioned they take it almost a year and a half was kind of not unusual, but not typically the case you mentioned, right?
Yeah.
Okay. With my situation, I went on FMLA for my military service-connected disabilities. And while I was on FMLA, I got a call from the investigators at Marta, and I told them, look, I'm on the medication. I cannot really speak to anything about the investigation. I'm on meds. Does that make sense to you?
Sure.
Then he said, well, if you cannot speak over the phone, you need to come in on Friday. And mind you, he called me on Tuesday. I said, I cannot come in on Friday. I'm on medication. I can't drive. And what am I going to do on the medication if I come on Friday? I called HR and I told HR, look, I'm on FMLA and I'm being harassed. Isn't that like a violation of people on FMLA? She's like, I'll take care of it. So I never heard from Marta again. About a month and a half later, based on my injuries, I decided to resign. So I resigned. 2 weeks later, I got a letter in the mail saying that I was terminated. No due process, no my side of the story, nothing.
Did you keep a copy of the resignation letter? Or did you send it by email or anything like that?
No. I emailed it to the lieutenant, who was my lieutenant, and he signed it saying received. I have a copy of it.
Could you forward that email to me?
Yes, I will. The reason why they took so long, because I went to the EEOC and I filed a complaint based on Title 6, Title 7, Americans with Disabilities Act.
Uh-huh.
They didn't do nothing because they didn't know how the EEOC was going to rule. That's why they never took any action notifying you guys. Because I find that was kind of strange. After a year, like a couple months ago, I went on my post and it still says I'm hired at Marta. I'm like, what the hell? So they were not trying to step in any mud because they didn't know how the EEOC complaint was going to go. Finally, the EEOC said, you know what, we're not going to make a decision, but Mr. Bruno, you could go ahead and you could file a lawsuit. I'm not about that. But furthermore, months after, and I'll send you all the documents, I decided to go to Social Security for disability for my service-connected injuries. Social Security found that I was disabled the day I got on FMLA with Marta.
Okay.
So I'm just saying, they had a ex parte, if you want to call it that, investigation behind my back, because nobody never brought me in office, had me sign no guarantee form, explained to me what the investigation was about, none of that. All I got was a call at my house when I was on FMLA saying, can I speak about an investigation? I said, look, I'm on medication. How can I speak? I'm drowsy, I'm sleeping. Then after he told me, if you don't come in on Friday, blah, 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 he left a message on my phone because I was knocked out. But when I checked the phone, basically saying, if you don't come in on Friday, you will be terminated. Mind you, I'm on FMLA, but it's neither here nor there. But I'm just telling you, and I have all the documentation to prove it.
One thing they noted in the inquiry report, the internal investigation, whatever term you want to use, they noted in there and included timestamp with your access card of you coming to the Dunwoody precinct during that time frame that you were speaking of, that you couldn't come in for the interview. And they included that in part of the investigation. Can you tell me about that? Why'd you go to the precinct?
So a few weeks after, I went to the precinct for some of my personal effects. But me going in for effects does not equate to me being available to do an investigation. Those are apples and oranges. My wife came with me. She parked. I ran in the precinct. I got my effects, and I ran out. You cannot say because I got my effects, I could sit down for an hour investigation. If that's what they're alluding to, then they're sadly mistaken. Investigation is a mental inquiry, if I'm not mistaken. Is it or is it not?
Is what now? A mental what?
Inquiry, like an investigation. They're asking you to recall certain things from the mind, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, if you're being interviewed and whatnot in an investigation, sure. If you're on some types of medicine, I could see how that could impact in a negative or positive way, depending on how you look at it.
Yeah, and my medication does not say that I cannot go to the bathroom. It doesn't say that all it says is that I'm mentally impaired. I cannot drive. My thinking is slow, this, that, and the third. But it does not say that I cannot go inside and grab my stuff.
Okay.
So their little mentioning of that is ludicrous. It makes no sense. And it doesn't equate to, well, if you could come to the precinct, you don't know how I got to the precinct. That's for one. Yes, I tapped my card. I ran in and I got my some of my effects, but that does not mean because I did that, I could have came in and do a full-on investigation with you. No.
Okay. Did you ever participate in the internal investigation, any kind of interview at all?
No, I never participated in it because, like I said, I was on medication.
The investigation that they did and the report talked about a pill bottle gathered on that January 9th of last year, and that you held on to it, didn't turn it in at the end of shift, held on to it for several days. Why did you not turn it in?
Well, to my recollection, because that was over a year ago. Right. When we a guy came in a girl's car, tried to rob her or whatever he did. She left. When we came, the officers came and they dealt with her. Gave her a case number, told her they would follow up with the investigation. She left the incident location and the officers went back to work, right? At that time, the crime scene is terminated. It was released. People could come in and out and go about their business and where the officers were conducting the investigation, right? She came back after she drove off and she said, look, I found this in the car. There was a pill bottle. She never said that she saw the pill bottle on the guy. She never mentioned that he used the pill bottle to attack her. No mention of the pill bottle other than, look what I found and it's not mine, right? So when me and the officers went back to the precinct, the officer who was doing the report, he said, Sarge, how do I label this? Because I don't know if this is a part of the crime. She left, she came back. How do I attach this to the guy? I said, that's a good question. I said, let me get the pill bottle and I'll hold on to it and I'll call either the detectives or property and evidence to find out how to properly label it before we send it in, right?
Okay.
My thing is, if you're going to do it right the first time. Not do it the wrong way and then try to do more work to get it correct the next time, right? It was my bad that the next day because that happened on a Saturday. The detectives, they work Monday to Friday, property and evidence Monday to Friday as well. And so that happened on Friday. I kept it in my office Saturday night, into Sunday night. I think I was either off one, but I went off to work and I forgot about it. That was my bad, I forgot. But it wasn't no ill will or I had no qualms in this. I have no sides to pick on this, right? And then while I was off work, the lieutenant called me and said, hey, Bruno, you know about a pill bottle? I said, oh, shit. And I was with my kids. My wife had gone to work. I said, I can't do anything with you right now. I'm home with the kids. So then I told him, yeah, I'll come in and I'll... So when I came in, the very same lieutenant, I explained to him everything that happened. And he agreed with me. And he told me, just do a supplement explaining what you did, why you did it. And he signed it. That was it. Now, yeah, they probably could have said, well, I kept on to the pill bottle a lot longer than I should have, which, yeah, okay, that may be the case. I did it in good faith.
They also say and have photos from that night that the pill bottle that they had in their hand is not the same pill bottle that got turned in.
Well, I don't know where they got that from, because the time we saw the pill bottle, it was wet. Me and the three officers who was around it, we couldn't tell what was on it, what medication it was from, and a lot of the stuff was peeling away. Like, when you have a pill bottle and the writing, the thing that is writing on is soaking wet. So maybe the time that the camera took the picture of it, and with me and the other officers handling it, it could have probably, who knows? So
did you thinking it may have rubbed off?
Could have rubbed off. I mean, like I said, I do not know this lady. I do not know this man who got arrested. What sides do I have to pick in this? I'm just doing a report and forwarding it off to the detectives so they could do whatever they have to do. But like I said, when it came to the pill bottle, and it wasn't even me who brought it up. the officer said, Sarge, how do I label this? I said, what do you mean? And then he explained to me. I said, okay, yeah, you have a point. I don't want to say it's a weapon or it's for safekeeping. I said, let me just hold on to it so I could find out from detectives or property and evidence how I should properly go about with this billboard.
I guess that kind of covers the only few questions I really had. I know it's been like we discussed a couple of times or mentioned that, this happened in April of last year as far as leaving the department. So out of curiosity, not that it has any bearing on this case or anything, but are you working?
No, I told you I went to this disability, and a lot of it was I have a lot of musculoskeletal stuff I dealt with when I was in Iraq, and PTSD. And I went to my VA doctor, and she's like, nah, after my whole situation. So I went to Social Security, and they found that I was disabled from police work as of February 2023.
Okay.
So it's not like I'm going back to policing. I can't. But it was just messed up that, the investigation was so important. They couldn't have waited for me to, whatever they could have done. But, that's Marta. I don't know. They do their thing. No skin off my back.
I see. I understand.
Also, let me ask you a few more questions since
Sure.
you're on the phone.
Yeah.
When it comes to investigations, I know we have a Bill of Rights pertaining to police officers, correct?
You talking about for Atlanta?
Police Bill of Rights?
Yes.
Okay, and that entitles us to some kind of due process, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, due process is what the foundation of our country is based on, even though
So how was I given any due? And when I did the EEOC, everything you mentioned that they sent to you, I have a copy of it because the EEOC sent it to me.
Okay. How was that going? The EEOC complaint that you filed? I thought you said earlier that they didn't do anything with that, or
no? They said that when Marta made the allegations, Marta said that they didn't know that I was disabled, blah 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 blah, and I sent the EEOC information saying that they did know I was disabled to the point where I had the VA sent a letter to the chief of police, and the chief of police issued me a harness for my back. How can you say you don't know I'm disabled when you're issuing me equipment for my disability, right? And when the EEOC saw all the evidence that I sent them, they said, okay, this is a good case for mediation where we don't have to really blow this up. We could just meet at the table. They refused to meet at the table. So the EEOC said, you know what, there is a strong case here, but we're not going to make a decision. They never said Marta was right or I was right. But they said, Mr. Bruno, if you want to, you could go ahead and file a lawsuit for ADA violation and let a jury decide your case. But I didn't want to go that route. It's not that big of a deal for me, So here I am. But I'm just saying, the chief initially signed, if I'm not mistaken, based on what I saw, he signed the termination in March or something to that effect. While I was on FMLA for my service-connected disability. I mean, if you're doing an investigation, couldn't you have waited for my side of the story? And how can you compel me to come to your office if I'm on FMLA? Is that one of the powers that the police chief has that we don't know about?
Well, people violate all kinds of practices and laws and rules and whatnot, and there's a lot of them to follow. As far as an employer, whether it be in this case local government or even private business, hiring someone and firing someone is, ultimately it's not governed by anybody in most cases, almost all, but not in every case. Because as you know, when you have civil service involved, sometimes, as you said, if you filed a lawsuit for wrongful termination or something to that effect, and the presiding member rules in the favor of the complainant, in this case if it were you, and then the agency has the opportunity to basically reinstate the officer whether they ever come back to work or not. And then if something like that was reported to Post with the proper documentation, then Post would go into, unless the agency agreed to do it, and sometimes they don't, then the Post would go into the gateway and change that termination to whatever status is appropriate with the ruling of the Civil Service Board. So, sometimes chiefs and sheriffs get that wrong, and and they have to, go a different path and change records like that affects the, the post record or whatever. And then in some cases reinstate the officer. I know before I retired from my department years ago, we had a case probably a decade ago where, he won the wrongful termination and went back to work there, and under a big cloud, and and the rumor mill, if you will. And over time, he got over that. He was a very strong person, still is, and then rose through the ranks and recovered from that. So it does happen, and not saying that's the case here, but maybe it is. And sometimes people get vindictive. Sometimes people just make mistakes at both sides, So I'm not sure what the case is here, but
let me get a piece of paper and a pen.
Okay.
And you tell me what documents you would like me. I'll tell you what documents I have available, and you let me know if you would like them sent to you.
Okay.
So you said you want the resignation letter, right?
Yes, if you still have it, just forward the email to me. It'll be fine.
Okay, the termination letter, I believe you have that already, right?
No, sir, I don't.
You want a copy of that?
Sure.
How about my FMLA?
Yeah, the documentation for FMLA would be good.
Would you like a copy of the Social Security saying that I was found disabled, unable to work the same day my FMLA took effect?
Sure.
What else would you like from me?
I think that's all. The rest of the things we talked about, I got from Marta, but those two things unless given to them, they wouldn't have. So it's good to have that from you. Yeah, that'd be great if you're able to send that to me.
I think I sent the EEOC a bunch of paperwork as well. One of them was Marta's claim that I was not disabled. That's why I'll send that as well. I'll be honest with you, I'm not going to be policing anymore because I can't. But I still don't want my name to go down in you know what I'm saying?
I understand.
I didn't do anything wrong. I just did everything I did in good faith.
I understand, sir.
I'll send you the audio. Because when the detective called back and I didn't pick up, because like I said, I was on the medication, he left me an audio, basically a really nasty audio saying that if you don't come in on this date, you're going to be fired. Like, come on. Do you tell that to somebody who's disabled on FMLA trying to take care of themselves? Come on.
Sir, I'll keep my eyes open for the email and the attached documents and the video, or excuse me, audio.
Yes,
and if you have any questions moving forward, you got my contact information. Or if you have any questions that you're not thinking of now that you think of later, just give me a ring. And if I don't answer, I do stay pretty busy. I'm on the phone a lot, as you can tell. I'm talking with you and have a lot of cases. So just leave a good time to give you a ring back if I'm not able to answer, and I'll do my best to meet that time, okay?
All righty, no worries, bud.
You take care of yourself, okay?
You do the same.
Okay, bye-bye.
Forgotten pill, bottle broken protocol, bogus custody. Weekend on the desk till the label lost the company. Can't drive, did drive, dates flip like a custody. Tampering tag, post, pull the card, that's the summary. Terminate the scene, then the evidence returns. That's contamination. Nation, watch the credibility burn. Chain links matter. Every handoff is a rung. Document the where, who, every signature, every thumb. You said Saturday to Friday. Which timelines to one? If clocks don't match up, then the case is coming undone. I never talked to IA. Then you met with the boss. Filed a supplement. So which lane's the truth and which one's gloss? Evidence 101. Lock it up or lock it out. Property room, receipt logs, no memory route. Keeping it over weekend. That's a custody chasm. Label smear chain, Smith expect a rule 901 spasm. If labels rub off, you better have photos and notes. Cross index, timestamps, barcodes, witness quotes, because gaps in the chain. Let a good lawyer pivot. Reasonable probability of tampering, jury will live it. Guarantee warnings when admin wants talk, know the lane. Compelled statements can't fuel criminal chain. Brady, Giggly, and flags, credibility stain. Any tamper on record makes testimony lame. OCGA 161094 in the frame. Georgia Post revocation 2024 is the claim. Policy manual sign, receipt missing your name. Governance gaps echo through every case you aim. HR never answer, yet termination came. EEOC strong case, then the right to sue. Same game, can't drive on meds, but then you rode to the station. Contradictions leave tread marks at every citation. This ain't semantics, it's forensic logistics. Where sloppy custodianship turns minor to mystic. From Marta, precinct halls to discovery by jail, broken protocol, bogus custody. Weekend on the desk till the label lost his company. Can't drive, did drive, dates flip like a custody. Tampering tag, post pulled the card, that's the summary. Elbert, Bruno, Marta, PD, facts on the drum. Tampering, listed badge gone, certification undone. If evidence is oxygen, the chain is the lung. Let it leak for a minute and the whole case is sung. Audi trail tight like a tourniquet twist. Every lapse is a lyric on a prosecutor's list. When truth is a ledger and facts gotta add, we balance the books, no room for the bad. We don't chase clout, we chase chronology. Receipts, not vibes, methodology, mythology. If you got docs, drop them, let the timeline talk. Shields of shame with the gate of a chain of custody walk.